We got some news to get into today, boys. That's right, more nerfs to the dungeons coming in 12.1. So to quell your little fears about those dungeon pools. Also, realized or realistic graphics in WoW. Another person's done it, but this time it's getting more attention. And what's it going to take to be a top 1%er at the end of this season? Let's dive straight in. Here we go. First of all, the nerfs to the dungeons. A lot of people hate the dungeon pool. They don't like the dungeons that were selected this time, understandably so, but Blizzard continues to nerf those dungeons and drop their difficulties. Let's see what else they're doing here. First of all, King's Rest. The changes here. Spectral Shaman, the Healing Tide Totem cooldown has been increased. For the Council of Tribes, they addressed an issue where Akaali and the Conqueror's Barrel can be canceled unintentionally, so that seems like it was an issue. Desire of the First King, Blade combo, all of these damage reductions to his abilities. We have damage of the second hit reduced by 12%, damage of the third hit reduced by 15%, and damage of the last hit reduced by 20%, so his Blade combo shouldn't hit as hard as it used to. And then Savage Maul, armor reduced by from 15 to 10%, so there you go, a little bit squishier for him. Temple of Sithralis, reduced enemy forces to improve routing and adjust Lindorbi's guidance route to reflect this change. That's great. Sithralis always had like way too much shit. Way too many snaky boys just walking around. Way too much trash to deal with. So a little bit less trash in that dungeon is honestly required. They also reduced the timer from 36 minutes to 33 minutes. So that's great. And then Agitated Nimbus. Fixed an issue where the release charge wasn't clearing accumulate charge. So that sounds like an issue that wasn't needed to be fixed. So that's been fixed now. By the way, when I say they reduce the timer, and that's great, I'm not saying it's harder now. When they do these kind of timer reductions, it usually means they've made the dungeon significantly easier, which means they don't think the timer needs to be as long as it previously was. That's why I think this is a good change. And then finally, a lot of people's favorites. Yeah, Ruby Life Pool. They fixed an issue with some of the absorb shield amounts scaling higher than intended with each key level, so that's good. Flash Frost Chill Weaver. The ice shield reduced to 5% of the caster's maximum health from each application. Meladrusa's Chill Worm. The ice bulk reduced to 10% of the caster's maximum health, and then health reduced by 8.5%, so there's double reduction there. They're reducing the health and the ice bulk's basically percentage of the health and how that affects it. And then higher channel for Ravati. Tempest Storm Shield adjusts to 20% of the caster's maximum health, and then the duration increased to 15 seconds from 12. So those things all great. These changes, again, nerfing these dungeons. As I said before, a lot of people don't like these dungeons. They didn't like a lot of this dungeon pool selection. But as I said before, we're not going to get the same version of these dungeons that we previously had. This is going to be an easier version of them. Hopefully they smoothed out a lot of the details. I haven't seen enough yet about those damn fireballs. Are those giant boulders in the Ruby Light Pools just going to hit a lot less than they previously did? We'll see. I think they did say that there's going to be an actual line that comes out, though, to show you where the boulder path is actually going to go. Previously, it was just like, hey, wherever they're facing, that boulder's about to shoot out, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So that should be visually, at least, a little bit more telling. What's up, OnlyCam? How's it going? Someone Turbo pulled at the end in PTR. Oh, did they? How did that go? And then you got to look out for some of those ice bulks. Yeah, no, these are all good changes, these dungeons. So this is what we wanted to see. And I doubt this even the last round of this. We'll probably get more nerfs going forward. Okay, how are you top 1%ers out there feeling? That's right, we are finishing out the season here. Probably, as we said before, we got basically one more month of this season. August 11th seems to be the go live date for patch 12.1. That's what a lot of people think it's going to be. And right now, looking at it, we have our first ever top 1% and top 0.1% titles. So the mount will go out to the top 1%, and the top 0.1%ers will get that first ever, like, gladiator-esque title, right, for Mythic Plus. So what's the number going to be? A lot of people right now wondering, am I close? Am I a top 1%er? If I wanted to push for it, what's the number that I'll likely need to push for? Well, one of our boys here, from Zephyrs of Warcraft Logs, actually created an estimation tool based on the current pace of the player base, where they currently stand, what the keys being run are, and then kind of extrapolated that data out until basically what will be the end of this season. So looking at this right now, we can look at what we think the final of the season will be, which will be August 11th, and then where the keys will land us in terms of the top 1%ers and the top 1.1%ers. So here we go. This is the chart they're currently looking at. I already filtered out for EU and US. And we know the final date, as I said before, is likely going to be August 11th. So let's extrapolate out that data, push it here. And here, this is what it looks like. So for US, we'll talk about the US first and then EU. It looks like to be a top 1%er, we're going to need a score of about 3,913. 3,913 IO score looks like it'll land you in the top 1%. As of right now, as of today, if you currently have a 3,447 score, you are sitting in the top 1%. So anybody with that current number, if you're sitting basically 3,800, you're very close to being a top 1%er. So if you continue to push, it looks like 3,913 for the US. For those servers, basically North America, NA, all that stuff, that's where your scores will be currently sitting. For EU players, it's slightly higher. The estimation looks like it's going to be 3,957 for your IO. That's where you'll stand if you want to be a top 1%er. Right now, the current score, 3,896. It makes you a top 1%er as of today. So again, this is extrapolated out data. It's not perfect. There's obviously a big range here the further you go out. So it could end up being 4K around that as well for a top 1%er, but this is what the estimation currently stands. Now, if you want to go for the ultimate and go for that big boy title, Sam is a bottom 1%er, yeah. If you want to go for that big boy title, the 0.1%er, it's looking like for NA servers, 4,176 will need to be your IO score to get that top 0.1% little nameplate title, basically. And then for EU, it's going to be 4,203. So these are massive scores. Obviously, this season, if you look back at previous seasons, to be a top 1%er, you didn't need to go this high because a lot of players just stopped pushing, right? They didn't continue to push, but because everybody knows about this top 1% and 0.1% basically achievements coming out with the mount and the title and everything, people are pushing harder than this season than previously. Now, looking here, what does it mean in terms of keys? You know, what do you got to be doing to actually get this? It looks like plus 24s are currently the highest keys being pushed in all of these dungeons as of today. So we're going to have to go higher than that. Plus 24s across the board for a lot of these dungeons is the highest we've seen completed in time. So going higher than that, I mean, God, I don't know what it's going to actually take to get a 3,900 or plus score. Probably 27s or something across the board to actually get this shit done. So yeah, right now, yeah, I struggled on the 17th. Look, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not elite when it comes to Mythic Plussing these days. My Gladiator days and stuff, they're behind me. I haven't had Gladiator since Season 3. So, yeah, I'm not in my peak right now. I'm not peak performing. But I still like to see what it's going to take to get there. And, yeah, these scores are high. So, if you're close right now to the 3,800s, you might actually have a chance. So, keep pushing. Moving on. Players just got their first glance at WoW Housing's artisanal rooms. So, Blizzard's adding this to the game. A lot of people actually don't know this. We're not just getting like an increase in outdoor furniture and all this other shit, 12.1. Blizzard's adding these like thematic rooms. Basically these wallpapers that are highly detailed and based around certain races in terms of what they look like. So we're looking at these right now. We have this Belameth room. So we have some Night Elf theming. Yes, Night Elf theming is actually coming in this patch. So a lot of people are probably excited for that. A lot of people who enjoy Night Elf aesthetics, you're going to eat your heart out with this patch. Basically right now we have the Belameth bedroom, meeting room, temple room, and theater. And this is what they look like. So again, this changes the floor, the ceiling, the walls, the curvature of the room, and everything else. So these are highly themed rooms. These look pretty cool. We also see we're going to get the Orgrimmar Council Room, Display Room, Stone Pit Room, and Theater Room. So yeah, very orcish, very stone, poop on the walls, and you know, sticks everywhere. Yeah, it's orc aesthetics. So anyone who likes that, you're going to enjoy that. Silver Moon Rooms. I'll be honest, when we previously looked at this stuff, I was very excited for it, but now I'm all like silver mooned out. I'm like, yeah, we've been seeing this aesthetic for a while, so it's not as cool as it was previously, but here you go. You got a Silver Moon Armory, Display Room, Lofty Study, and a Small Study. So that's cool. We got a swirly staircase in here with one of these, so that's nice. We haven't seen Zandalari yet. That would be a great aesthetic for them to add for sure. The only other one we're seeing right now is also the Stormwind Room. So we get a Stormwind Armory, Display Room, Grand Hall, and Kitchen. Yeah, very Stormwind-esque. You could change the colors of windows and stuff, so if you don't like the blue, you could change that. But overall, these look pretty cool. I mean, they're nice aesthetical rooms. They're going to add more to the current rooms you have. Now you can build like a battle arena, and this pit room will work pretty good for that. Nice stuff. We'll probably see more races and stuff coming through. But yeah, for those of you who didn't know, Night Elves and Blood Elves are a really big thing going forward in this patch. Also a really big thing, bigger homes, right? Because bigger's better. 12.1 is also bringing us larger exteriors with housing level 12. We're increasing the maximum interior decor placement, increasing to 5,975, and the room placement budget also increasing to 134. And with these increase in budgets, we're also seeing, as I said before, larger exteriors. So these bigger exteriors, yeah, I mean, these are starting to look like giant, like village homes, man, like inns and stuff. But these are really cool, big ones. We see the Stormwind version right here. Also, there is the new Night Elf version, right? So this one gives you a big Night Elf tower on the side, and then you can build an even higher Night Elf tower here. So these are pretty cool. Yeah, Beaver, bigger is better, always. So these look cool. These are the Night Elf ones, as I said before. We're also seeing this one right here with the Blood Elf, where it looks like the towers actually go higher with these bigger versions of these homes. So that's pretty nice. And then finally here, it looks like we're getting the version of the Orc one as well. So I showed you guys the Stormwind one, and then there's an Orc one here. The huts go higher and everything. Yeah, more sticks, more mud and everything. So these look pretty good. People who are excited and getting into housing a lot, I mean, yeah, this is great. This is what you were waiting for. And finally, maybe something you weren't waiting for. The realistic version of World of Warcraft. This is kind of like a trope at this point. With AI, I mean, we've seen hundreds of videos come out where, hey, it's the realistic WoW, and everyone's talking about how realism in WoW would look. Overall, first thing I would say, we'll watch the video, and then I'll give you my opinion on it. So this is the video that was dropped from The Wizard. This one's getting a lot of attention. He did a full re-rendering of World of Warcraft, basically, characters and all, of what it would look like in hyper-realism. Let's check this one out. So I haven't fully watched this. This is... damn. It's a veiny boy. The orcs look decent. There is still WoW to it. It just... ooh, that troll looks... yeah, he's raggedy looking. I just don't know if it still looks like WoW. Oh, wow, I kind of like the humans. I kind of like the humans. The boars, okay. Get some Orgrimmar architecture here. Is it still WoW, though, with this much change? We got the orc farmer, yeah. The wolf actually freaking looks great. I will say that. So hyper-realistic. Wow, good luck having a PC that'll run it, though. So this definitely still looks like WoW here. It almost looks like the WoW movie when you see the hour cuts and stuff. Nice, the bridge into Orgrimmar. That's the side bridge. Ooh, that female orc looks raggedy. Jeez. Oh, so there's the outer gates of Orgrimmar. That one doesn't look too bad. Oh, man. Oh, God, the goblins. Oh, that's hard to look at. Quillbore? The shadows alone would destroy our frame rates for sure. Look at the little imp. Ooh, the raptor. Native looks scarier in full res. Okay, we got the Hutbo mask. Oh, nice. Look at the water elemental. He looks like a Pokemon now, though. His fists are too big. And another gate into Duratan there. Oh, this is inside of Orgrimmar. That kind of looks cool right there. Another, man, why are we re-rendering so many Quillbore? Oh, undead. Okay, the undead kind of looks cool. Female troll. What the fuck? It looks like Avatar. That looked like something out of Avatar. Jeez, the male troll. Face kind of looks scuffed. I don't know about the troll faces. Okay, yeah, overall, I mean, how do I feel about this? Look, it's not bad. The trolls look freaking weird, I'm not gonna lie. The orcs and stuff, there was the one image of Orgrimmar that I thought looked pretty cool. That's the outer gates of Orgrimmar, not bad. The goblin, I don't know, man, that's weird. The goblin looks kind of weird. Yeah. I mean, it looks like a goblin. At least a WoW goblin, but I'm not sure how I feel about it overall. The raptor, where's the image of the orc walking in? This one to me just looked like a Pokemon at this point. Yeah, it did. Look, overall, do I want to see WoW fully rezzed? Here's the image I was talking about. This one of Orgrimmar. Do I want to see WoW in this aesthetic? I don't think so. I don't think I need WoW to go this hardcore when it comes to graphics. And no matter how it looks, Sam, you'll still be bad at the game. Right. I don't know if I want to see it in this full rendering. You know, I don't think it would feel like WoW anymore if it ever went in this direction. I do like to see the up-resing that's going on, like the remake of Eastern Kingdoms. I would love to see them remake other zones in World of Warcraft. Not remake them in terms of making them look completely cataclysm, but remake in terms of like up-resing them a bit. The way they've been doing with Silvermoon and everything else. I think that's a nice change in the game. I would love to see them do it like Ungoro Crater and shit, which looks like very much still looks like a 2004 zone. So seeing that happening in the game, to me, I think is a good thing. Seeing this happen, I don't know. I mean, you look back at games like that went for more of the realistic look. Like, look right now, like Final Fantasy, right? When Final Fantasy came out, everyone was like, oh, wow, these graphics are so much better than World of Warcraft. But honestly, right now, if you look at Final Fantasy and how its graphics held up compared to WoW, Final Fantasy looks scuffy now. Like, over the years, the realistic graphics, they just start to age really badly. So WoW's graphics haven't aged as bad. Some people don't like the Disneyfication of the characters and stuff, but I think overall, just like an up-resing of WoW is better than a full artistic change, like in this direction where it's fully realized in realism. Also, for the sake of PCs, I mean, shit, buying RAM right now is gonna run you you gotta open up 2 new credit cards to buy RAM. So a lot of people's PCs wouldn't be able to run this version of World of Warcraft, where like the current version, basically you can run that shit on your cell phone. So, interesting stuff. Cool video. This one got a lot of attention, so I figured we'd actually check it out. But for today, that is all in terms of news.